Questioning Assumptions Introduction. In the coming modules, we will question certain assumptions and we will revisit the whole construct of bilingualism that emerges from our discussion until now. So, what we are insisting on that bilingualism must be seen as a social practice of individuals and not as coming together of two languages, because when we are talking about only languages, then we tend to see them in a social context. That is, we do not place them in a social milieu. We think of them as something that is different from the social context. So they are not just two different languages that are spoken and seen to be possessed by the individuals. Rather, it is a social practice that happens simultaneously. And in that, as we discussed, translanguaging lies at the core. Now, we can discuss it forever, whether we need to encourage translanguaging or not encourage translanguaging in formal situations, but to keep in mind that this is what happens in real life situations is an important starting point to understand how bilinguals work and what happens in bilingual communities. We will problematize certain terms, we'll raise questions about the validity of certain items that are often used in literature, for instance, semilingualism. What does it mean by language dominance? This concept of mother tongue and the second language learners, how do we need to access these terms with caution? What about the heritage language learners? Who are these people and how do we need to talk about them? How have these terms been used until now in literature? And what misconceptions might arise from the given use that they are put to? And why do we need to challenge them? These are the things that we will discuss. The main two assumptions that are working, or you will see at work in the coming modules, are that number one, these terms emerge from a linguistic focus. So they look upon language not as a social practice, but language as, as a thing that is different from its actual practice. And number two, we insist upon that it is absolutely important to conceptualize translanguaging, because this would mean that we reject the monoglossic or monolingual ideals of what a bilingual is or what an ideal bilingual is. And this would mean that we need to apply a heteroglossic lens, a hybrid lens, an open-mindedness to understand that linguistic practices might happen simultaneously, and they do happen like that in real life.